The internship that turned into a nightmare. You know that feeling when a door slams, and you realize you're on the wrong side of it? That was me, 6 months ago. I was a film student in NYC, broke, and desperate for a break. So when I landed a creative residency with Arthur Vance, the billionaire tech mogul who retired to a private island in the Pacific, I thought I'd won the lottery. $10,000 a month, just to document his philosophical journey. It sounded like a dream. The seaplane dropped me off on a strip of white sand. The island was beautiful, but silent. No birds. No wind. Just the hum of industrial-sized air conditioners. Vance met me at the dock. He was wearing a white linen suit, looking like a saint. "Hand over your devices, Leo," he said, holding out a velvet bag. "True art requires a vacuum." I didn't even hesitate. I handed him my phone and my life. For the first 2 weeks, it was all luxury. 5-course meals, infinity pools, and long talks about the future of humanity. But then, the tone shifted. I noticed the other staff. The gardeners, the chefs, they never made eye contact. They moved like they were underwater. And one night, while I was filming Vance in his study, I saw a woman, another intern, crying in the hallway. When she saw me, she didn't ask for help. She just whispered, "Don't let him see you're tired." The next morning, I told Vance I wanted to leave. That the vibe wasn't right for my creative process. Vance didn't get angry. He just sipped his tea and looked at me with those cold, gray eyes. "Leo, you signed a contract. You're a key component of the Vance legacy now. You leave when the film is finished. And the film is never finished." I tried to walk to the dock. 2 guys, built like linebackers in black polos, stepped into my path. They didn't say a word. They just pointed back toward the mansion. I realized then. I wasn't an intern. I was a prop. 3 months went by. I was forced to film everything. His meals, his sleep, his sermons to the staff. If the lighting was wrong, he'd make me stay awake for 48 hours straight as discipline. I was starving, exhausted, and losing my mind. I started to understand why the others looked like ghosts. He was literally draining the life out of us to feel powerful. But Vance had one weakness. He was obsessed with his digital vault. A room in the basement where he kept the master drives of every person he'd ever sponsored. He thought he was untouchable because the island had its own satellite grid. One night, Vance was hosting a celebration for his latest project. He was distracted, drunk on his own ego. I was supposed to be filming the party, but I pretended my camera battery died. I slipped away to the basement. I found the vault. It was locked with a biometric scanner, but I'd been filming Vance for months. I had a high-resolution, still-framed photo of his thumb on my camera's digital display. I pressed the screen against the scanner. Click. I was in. There were hundreds of phones, passports, and laptops. I found mine. My heart was thumping so loud I thought the guards would hear it. I grabbed my phone, but there was no service in the basement. I needed to get to the roof. I climbed the service stairs, dodging the security cameras I'd helped him install. I reached the terrace, looking out over the dark ocean. 1 bar of service. 1. I didn't call the police. I knew Vance had them on his payroll. I called my cousin, Sarah. She's a hacktivist, with a massive following on social media. "Sarah," I hissed into the phone. "I'm sending you a file. It's a GPS pin and a video of Vance admitting to the acquisitions. Post it. Go live. Do it now." I hit send. The progress bar crawled. 10%, 40, 80. "Leo?" I turned around. Vance was standing in the doorway, the moonlight hitting his white suit. He wasn't smiling anymore. "That was a mistake," he whispered. He lunged for me, but I didn't fight back. I just held up the phone. "It's gone, Arthur. 5 million people just saw your legacy. The seaplanes didn't come for me until morning. But they weren't Vance's planes. They were Coast Guard. Sarah had made so much noise online that the government couldn't ignore it. They found 32 people on that island. Some of them had been there for years. Vance tried to claim we were all voluntary participants, but the footage I'd shot told a different story. I'm back in NYC now. I finished my film. It's not a documentary about a mogul's journey anymore. It's the lead evidence in a federal kidnapping case. And every time I hear a door slam, I make sure I'm the one holding the key. Would you like me to generate a catchy title for this story as well?